if you're using one of these go ahead level templates, which I know most agencies are, I'm going to show you how you can ditch the templates which are boring, outdated, and they just suck. And I'm going to show you how you can build an awesome website just like these. So those websites that I just showed you, I actually fully built myself in go ahead level. This is one of them. And so as you can tell, there's a big difference between something that we can build custom from scratch as opposed to using one of the templates, something that looks something like this. Outdated, cheap, boring, very like stock footage, stock graphics, and it just looks bad. Now, the second reason why I wouldn't want to edit a template is because a lot of times these sections can get confusing with the way they were built originally. So if you look at this website, some of the sections are hidden on mobile, some of them are showing up on desktop, and so as you're trying to like fix this template, you're gonna run into so many troubles. So for me, I always build from scratch, and it's just the easiest, simplest way to build a website. So let me break down 3 sections. A lot of people have asked me how I was able to build this in go ahead level, so I'm gonna show you 3 sections and I'm gonna build them live so you can just copy. Let's go. Okay, so first section I want to show you is this one right here. This is a bento style section with a cool like gradient background. You're showing the features of the SaaS. If you don't have a SaaS, you're doing more of an agency, you can also do this with services that you offer. So let me show you how I built this. So the first thing we're going to do is go and create a full width section. We're going to add a row. This is going to be a 2-column row because we're going to have 2 sections side by side, and we're going to add some margin because that's how we're going to create this look where you have the bento but there's some space in between. So I'm going to click here and let's just add, let's say 5 on each side. And what I'm going to do next is add a background color. For this, I'm going to add a photo, and the photos that I'm going to add is a gradient. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add an element, which is going to be a sub headline. This is the stuff that is going to be like the text on top. We can make this bolded, you know, you can change this, make it look nice depending on what you're going for. For me, I think white makes the most sense with the background. Now we're going to add, let's say I add a quick photo right here, and then I'm just going to change this to one of my graphics. So I've added my graphic, you can see it, you can see the background as well. I think it looks really nice. The thing I'm missing here is adding some paragraph. So I'm just going to add this paragraph right here, make it slightly bigger. We could call it 16. Then I'm going to change the color as well to some kind of white or like a light gray. Could be this one right here as well. What I'm going to do next is the easiest way to clone this section is just duplicate it and remove the previous one we have added, and then we can just change the graphic. So I click here, I change my graphic. It's going to be a different graphic, and then I'm going to change the background as well. And I'm just going to use another one of my gradients that I've already downloaded. Could be this one. I don't really like the way it looks that much, so we can just change it to something else. There we go. Now you'll notice the text is off based on the size of your images. So what you can do is have the same size image, or you can go to alignment and then do content spacing and do left. That's going to bring everything to the top, and now they're both going to line up because you want to have them so it looks very even, symmetrical. So now if we preview this section, this is what it looks like, and it looks very similar to our other SaaS website that I was showing you earlier. Now the next thing is, if you wanted to add more features, the easiest thing is just clone this section. So now you have 2 of them back to back, and again, swap the photos, swap the gradients, and you have your gradient section right there. So if I preview this section one more time, you'll see each section side by side. You have these ones which are just cloned, a couple different graphics as well, and some cool gradients as well that I downloaded from pexels.com. Now, if the gradients might not fit the style of website you're building, that's fine. I'm going to show you how I built this bento as well. So let's go back to our editor, and here I'm going to create a new section full width. We're going to do 2 rows again. The next thing we're going to do is add some margin, same as the last time. So let's say we do 5 on each side very quickly. Now the next thing is we're going to hit advanced, and in advanced I'm going to do full border, and it's going to be solid. I'm going to do no border color as well, and then this is going to be 25. And if you're wondering what is that doing, the radius is just giving the round edges that you see here. Now you can't tell because we don't have a background yet, but I'm just going to change the color. Let's say it was this one right here. Now you can see those rounded edges right there. Okay, so what we're going to do is add a headline, sub headline, or paragraph very quickly, and then a photo. Photo is just going to be your graphic. Make sure you export it transparent so you can see the background as well. And then once you've built one section, easiest thing you can do is just clone it. So let's say you have 2 of them. You could even do 3 of them side by side. So I've seen some bentos where you have 3 things side by side, and you just change the photo. So if I click here, I'm going to just change it very quickly to one of my other graphics right here. And that's so you have like 3 sections side by side. Say this is looking really good, but you want to add another section, just clone this section. And then say you wanted to have 2 features as opposed to 3, then I'll just quickly delete this one right here, and then I'll just slide it over. So based on, you know, which feature do you want to highlight more, or if you want to have them perfectly symmetrical, that's fine. But you know, it's just ways you can play around with the bento section to make it look really clean. Now, if I preview the section, you have 3 photos side by side, 3 features, and then here you have 2 of them. And you can play around with how you want it to look. So I think this is looking pretty clean, and that's 2 ways you can build awesome bento style sections in Go Ahead Level. Let me show you the next feature. Next section I wanted to show you how to build is just a standard features section. So you have a graphic on one side, you have text on the other side, you have a call to action down here, and then as you hover, it animates. It has a cool gradient effect as well. So I'm going to show you how to build this section right now. So we're going to add a new row, and it's going to be 2 columns, and we're going to have a photo on one side and then the text on the other side. So I'm just going to add it very quickly. We're going to have an image, we're going to have a sub headline, and then some paragraph as well as a button. Okay, so once you have the layout, then I'm just going to add a bit more margin here so it looks better, and then I'm just going to change the background color. Let's just call it black. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is add a inner background color to this section. So the blue section I'm going to do slightly lighter, and we're going to make the edges round. So I'm going to go again, advanced, full border, and we're going to do the same thing as the previous time, and I'm just going to do 25 this time. Okay, so this is kind of how it looks like. So I want to flip the order. I want to have the text on this side, and I'm going to give it some padding as well. I feel like the text is way too close to the edge. Looks kind of weird, and I'm going to change the alignment. So everything is going to be aligned to the left side as well, and I'm going to change this photo right here. So I'm going to click here and add a random graphic. Okay, so this is what the section looks like, but now we have to add a bit of code to animate so you get that hover effect. So when you hover on the section, it animates and you have this cool gradient background effect. So I'm going to show you how to do this now. So what I'm going to do is go to my Notion doc. If you don't have it, check it out. It's linked in bio, and this is going to be the easy tutorials, and it's going to be 1.6. So how to add gradient backgrounds to sections. Now this is going to be example 2 because this is going to be adding a background gradient to a section on hover. So step 1 is going to be copying this piece of code and adding it to the website. So I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like, and I'm going to go back to my Go Ahead Level website editor. I'm going to go here to custom CSS, paste this piece of code, and this is the main tag that you have to keep in mind. So this is the tag we're going to add to the section. So if you take a look at it, I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go here to the blue section, and I'm going to go to advanced, scroll down, and I'm going to add this as a custom class. Add it here, hit enter, and I'm going to hit save. Now, if I hover on the section, you'll see it right away. Now, this color doesn't match. I'm going to show you how to change the color. So if we take a look at the custom CSS one more time, you'll notice there's 2 colors right here. And if you're wondering, how do I find the code for my color? Just go to coolors.com, and then you click on, let's say this color. Let's say this is the one you wanted to use. And instead of using picker, do RGB. That's going to give you the code. So you're going to copy this code, go back to website editor, you're going to select this one, and we're going to replace it for the new one. And I'm going to hit save. So now you'll see that this looks completely different. Now the color that we're using is the blue, which is the one that we selected right here. So when you hover, you see the blue, and that's how it works. So you can play on with the colors and make it look however you want, but that's how we built that section. Let's take a look at section 3. Now the next section I wanted to show you is this one right here. This is for an agency template that we built a while back, and you have a cool graphic, you have text on top of the graphic, and it's kind of all blending in as you scroll to the next section, which I think looks pretty cool. So I'm going to show you how I built this. So what we're going to do is add a full row, full section, 1 column. We're going to have everything stacked on top of each other. The first element is going to be an image, and this is going to be the graphic, and then we're going to have our text, sub headline, and the copy. Okay, so this is what the section looks like. You have photo, sub headline, paragraph down here, and what you're going to do is add your graphic. Now the key with the graphic is going to be exporting it with a clear background. I'm going to use this one right here. So show what it looks like. This one right here. I'm going to click on it, and it already looks pretty good. Now, how do you have the text kind of on top of the background? We're going to do this by using negative margin. So if you click here, I'm going to do -80. What that's going to do is it's going to allow this section to be on top of the background, on top of the photo. So now it kind of blends in. It looks really cool. And then we can just clone this and have our text down here. And that's kind of how the section is going to look like. But there it is. That's how we build awesome websites in Go Ahead Level, and you can ditch those templates and start building something awesome. If you want to skip the work of building the websites from scratch, you can actually get one of our templates that we just recently launched. You can check it out in the link in bio.